false ego emerging. So I'm trying to catch myself doing that. However, it's harder, sorry, as compared to being in the presence of devotees. And the other thing that I have also found out about myself is that after lunch, I immediately go into the mode of ignorance. So, so I'm trying to catch myself in those situations as well. So now what I'm trying to do is after lunch, before I fall into that ignorance mode, I start chanting. So that kind of it doesn't bring me totally to the mode of goodness, but it tries to counter that mode of ignorance setting in to some extent. So it'll take a little bit of practice on my end.
It's very nice. You see how catching yourself helps? Like we know where we stand when we are able to, and catching itself is such a great thing, right? Otherwise, we are just business as usual, just goes on and on. Catching is the most important one that
Yeah.
comes with the practice.
I'm thanking you for giving this homework and I took it seriously. Otherwise, we would never be able to do this.
Right, yeah.
Thank
Keep
you.
doing it. It's a personal thing. You can keep on doing it. It's not like it's just a starting point. It's an ongoing thing. That's why I say it's an ongoing. It's never an end to this process because bhakti process is an ongoing, and then you have to keep. This is called anartha nivritti process. This is the process of anartha nivritti. Anybody else would like to volunteer? Okay. Yeah, next week, please each week say something, each one of you. That way it will help the conversation going through also. Yeah, a quick recap from up until 7:14, I guess, right? That's what we have finished last week. And this week we're going to finish the chapter. Today some verses, tomorrow some verses. So 7th chapter, knowledge of the absolute. Krishna starts to speak about the glory of knowing him in the first 3 verses, where he talks about the importance of hearing process, and by hearing how we know him in full to the extent that we have understood and appreciated. But not many people, Bahunam Manushyanam Sahasreshu, not many people take this process because very rare people come to this point. Bahunushanam Sahasreshu Kaschidevati Yetatam Api Siddhanam Kaschan Mamit. So very few people, out of many, many people, very few people come to them. Who knows Krishna completely is even rarer. That is rarity of bhakti. Then he goes to speak about his energies, his potencies, his energies, material energies to start with. The 8 material energies. Anybody remembers what are the 8 material energies or the verse itself? Even though that's not a memorization verse. Yeah.
Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego.
Right. So these are Krishna's material energies, are how the entire universe is created by the transformation of all these energies in different permutations, combinations. So that's what is the material energies. And then he speaks about the spiritual energy, which is the living entities. Apareyam itaswanyam prakritim viddhime param. The Jiva Bhutas are part of this spiritual energy, but they are struggling because they are deluded by these modes. Why? Because they have, and then he speaks about, I am not in them. The living entities are deluded, but I am not deluded because I am above. I am the creator and I am the destroyer. I am the maintainer also. So I am above the modes. I am not in the modes, so these modes don't disturb me. And he speaks about, before he speaks that, he speaks about the essence of various energies. Is the essence in the 8 material manifestations that he spoke, and then various manifestations he speaks about his energies, his potencies, like his taste in water, ability in man, heat in the sun and moon, and like that, and heat and light in the sun and moon, and so on. Various potencies, the essence of all that. And then he speaks about the modes. And the modes is something that he is not part of it, although he created them, he is not part. And then he speaks of people who can get over these modes, those who surrender to Krishna, because material energy works under the orders of Krishna. She moves according to his will. And if we also move according to his will, then she will come back. She's in the forefront all the time. When we, according to Krishna's will, operate, then she takes the back seat and she'll encourage us to go forward. She will not give us as many. She may give us, but then every single time we go to Krishna, not to her. We won't succumb to her, rather we go to Krishna. That way, we'll overcome her. She'll continue to test. No wonder she'll continue to test because that's her duty. Krishna has assigned her with the duty that keep testing these living entities. If they really want to come to me, they need to pass at every single instance, and then they will come to me. So that's up until 14th verse. Now, moving to the 15th verse. Krishna speaks about the people who surrender unto him, like the next chapter. Let me quickly share the section summary one more time to refresh. He speaks about surrendering unto the Lord. There are people who surrender unto him and there are no people. So he explained about how one can surrender, right? In the 14th chapter, 14th verse. Now he speaks about what is the surrendering process, who surrenders and who don't, and why they don't. So that's from 13 to 19. So in the 15th verse, Krishna speaks about the people who surrender or don't surrender. Namam dushkritino moodaha prapadyante naradamaha mayaya parahata jnana asuram bhavamashitaha. These are the 4 kinds of people who don't surrender to Krishna. So Krishna uses the word surrender. That means within surrender is like a very, very high level, right? Like we worship Lord, we don't necessarily surrender to him, but he is keeping the bar of people who don't surrender to him is at that level. That means people who worship to him is at a little lower bar than this. So he has kept the people who are Dushkritina at a very high level. Like, we probably who worship Krishna for anything are not part of this category. So these are a different category people. They are Mudas, they are Naradamas, they are Maya Parhatagyanis and Ashunam Bhavamashitas. So these are the people who don't surrender to Krishna because they are foolish, Mudas are foolish, and Naradhamas are lowest of mankind. Maya Parhatagyanar are those whose knowledge had been stolen by Maya, and Asuram Bhavamashitaha are atheistic people. Are those are nature who has the demonic nature. They don't surrender to Krishna. But everyone else who don't fall under this category are some form of worshipper of Krishna. So then he starts to go into the details of who these people are. The Mudas they are grossly foolish people. They are foolish categories. The hardworking beasts of burden. And these people want to enjoy the fruits of their labor. They come up with their own self-made rules, self-made services for everyone. That comes in the purport. If you have read purport, it is the self-created duties. They come up with the self-created duties and they work very hard. And these people are those who work in not to categorize them alone, but examples can be from that category where they keep working 9 to 5 and so they can at some point go on vacation and then so they work hard. So they accumulate all their hours, they accumulate all their money so that they can go and enjoy the vacation and then come back and repeat the same. So they don't know what's happening. Like, is that enjoyment going on vacation is the only thing that we are aspiring to? We don't know. That is a self-created duty. They have created a duty that they want to enjoy like this, or they want to compete with someone. They want to have enviousness to someone. So they come up with their self-created duties and they work very hard day and night. And they literally don't have time for knowledge on how they can sustain their soul. They're able to sustain their bodies, and bodies will stay for some time. Just like they are called beasts of burden, and they are like compared to asses. The ass thinks that only when master gives it the green grass, it is available. Otherwise, it doesn't know where to get it from. And it carries a big burden of load on its back and keeps serving the master. And master will beat him if he's not carrying the load properly. And also it thinks that for the other she goes behind, he goes behind and gets kicked repeatedly. So these are the self-created duties, exactly in the footsteps of us, that the people who are working day and night, they are following. So these kind of people, they don't have any time for material enjoyment. Though, yeah, so that's the Mudas. And then the next set of people are Naradamas. Naradamas are the lowest of mankind. There are 8,400 species out of 400 million are human species. And not everyone is civilized in this. Some people might have the opportunity to perform devotional service also, right? They might have had some sukruti, and they may have performed some social, spiritual activity also, but they give up and they become averse to it. If they give up and that's go on, Krishna still gives that Sukruti, it will continue life after life. But these people, even though they have the facility, even though they are in the families of these great Brahmanas and devotees, they are very socially situated, they're politically also very developed, but they become lowest of people. They don't have, and they have a facility to revive God consciousness, but they lose that opportunity. And this human form of life is meant for reviving our relationship with the Lord, but they lose that opportunity. So they are called lowest of the mankind. They are Naradamas. Nara is the human, Adhama is the lowest among that. Whereas when the living entity in the womb of the mother, it's constantly praying to the Lord. In the third canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, we have the prayers of the child in the womb of the mother. How the child, in the womb of the mother, the baby prays. It literally prays. Beautiful verses. That let me just come out. I'm very, very in a very, very uncomfortable position. It's very constricted here. I can't move. And it prays. It suffers so much. And it prays to the Lord. Let me come out and do devotion service to you. Let me have the remembrance. But as soon as it comes out, the devotees surrounding the baby are so, make the baby forget everything that it has prayed in the womb, and it goes with the flow, and that's how it forgets. That's how it becomes forgetful of Krishna after it comes out. So that's, and we should have our duty is to give our children that opportunity so that they can keep continuing on that prayerful mood that they have started in their journey in the mother's womb. So we should give them that opportunity. So the Naradhamas are who lose that opportunity. Okay. And then the next one is Maya Aparhata Jnana. Maya is Maya. Apaharata is it has stolen Jnana. These people have been stolen by the actual Jnana because of Maya. And who are these people? These are the people who are very, very intelligent class, because they have done some analytical study of everything. Like, they can gather information, they can analyze it, but they don't come to surrendering to the Lord. That is this kind of people. They are Maya Parhata Jnanas. They might even write a commentary on Bhagavad Gita. That's such knowledgeable they are. They're very, very also very, very developed also. They can come to that, but they will not come to the point of surrendering. They will not have that understanding that Krishna is the source of all. Krishna has to be worshipped. Even they may write a commentary on Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita and everything, but they will not come to understand Krishna. So these are the people who are stolen by the knowledge, by the Maya. Their knowledge has been stolen. And Dushkrita, and last one is the Asuram Bhavamashrita. These are the people who are atheistic, demonic mentality. Even though they see Krishna as in, they dissect, say that he doesn't have a form, he doesn't have a body. What he speaks is not what he actually means. There is some other person within what he is speaking. That is what. So it's all various types of concoctions of the simple interpretation of Bhagavad Gita. So they are asuris. They're atheistic. They don't consider Krishna as a person itself. The examples that we have from our history is Shishupal. Shishupal wasn't considering Krishna as a person. He might have lifted a a piece of mud like Govardhan. He might have danced on a snake or Kalia, but he might have just done that, but he has no great abilities. And that is such kind of people. They don't consider Krishna's abilities, and they are atheistic. So these are the people who also don't surrender to Krishna. Okay. Now Krishna speaks about the people who surrender unto him. There are also 4 kinds. Now he says, Chaturvidha bhajante maham janaha sukritino arjuna arto jignasur artharti jnani cha bharatarshava. Now look at this word bhajante. He says bhajante instead of prapadyante. Prapadyante is to surrender. Now bhajante is to just worship. Even if you say recite some verse, recite a prayer, offer some water. These are the people who Krishna calls them are sukritinas. So the bar has been lowered so much. We just do a little worship, Krishna gives them in the category of sukritanas who come to him no matter what. And who they are? They are arthos. Artha is, let's read the translation. O best among the Bharatas, 4 kinds of pious men begin to render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desirer of health, the inquisitive, and he is searching for knowledge of the absolute. So these are sukritinas. Kruti is means to do a meritorious work. Kritina is a meritorious work. And if you add su, it is even much more meritorious work. So sukritinas are these people who are arthas. Artho is the distressed. They don't go when there is a distress in their life. They don't go to anything else other than to come to Krishna. They go to the temple, they worship the Lord, they pray, get me out of this distress, and it's very hard to get over. Krishna considers them as Mahatmas. In fact, in the next verse, he speaks, these are Mahatmas. But in this verse, he's saying, these are the people who come to me. They are worshippers of me. They don't take to bottle, they don't take to any other thing. They come to Krishna for distressing of the distress. Then next is the Jignasur. The Jignasur is the inquisitive. The inquisitive is the general inquisitiveness. Like they want to know, why is Krishna blue? Why did he marry 18,100 wives? How did he do that? How could he lift Govardhan hill on his little pinky? Very inquisitive. Because they are asking about Krishna, they are Sukritinas. Because they are inquisitive about Krishna. They are not inquisitive about what is the stock market price, what is who has won this game between these 2 people. Like, they're not inquisitive of that matter. In fact, they're inquisitive about Krishna. So Krishna calls them and Sukritis. And then he spoke about Artharthi. Artha is to gain wealth. Artha is to get some profit. Arthi, to get some wealth. These are the desirers of wealth. So to get wealth also, if they are going to Krishna, that's instead of doing some demigod worship to get this boon, to get this wealth, they're coming to Krishna to worship. So not just Arthati can be anything, like a material gain, like a house, property, anything. Like that are the Arthati. So they are coming to Krishna only. And Gyanis. Gyanis are the one who want to know more about Krishna. Like they're very serious in their pursuit to know about Krishna. Those are the Gyanis. So the examples that we have from the Shastra are, anybody can say any examples that we have from Shastra for Artho? Arthas?
Dhruva Maharaj started out for asking for Artha.
Yeah, now we are talking about Artha, distressed. You can give that example for
Gajendra.
Gajendra, yeah. When he was in suffering for 1,000 years in the water, he became very distressed and then he prayed to Krishna. So some piety dawned upon him and he prayed to Krishna. Until then he was struggling. He was struggling on his own. He was trying to combat with the crocodile, but he couldn't. And then he prayed to Krishna. So he is categorized as Artha. Jignasus, Jignasi devotees.
Sanat Kumaras?
No. Jignasurs are very inquisitive people. These are from the Shastra. They are Shaunakadi Rishis. In the Bhagavatam, it comes when 6 questions were asked to
Sutta Goswami.
Suta Goswami. The head
Parikshit
of
Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj.
Parikshit is not a Jignasur. He's not. He gave up everything. He surrendered. He's a surrendered devotee. He's not a Jignasur. He is not inquisitive to know about Krishna. He gave up everything and he's ready to give up his life. Jignasur are these Swanakadi rishis who were when Sanak, what is his name? Sukadeva, not Sukadeva Goswami. You just
Sutta
said
Goswami.
Suta Goswami. When Suta Goswami came to the assembly, the Shaunakadi rishis were doing the yajna for 1000 years to for the betterment of the Kali Yuga that is oncoming. Then they stop that and they start asking questions to Suta Goswami. So they are Jignasurs. They want to know about Krishna.
Mataji, sorry to interrupt here, but Parikshit Maharaj also asked questions, right? Wouldn't that count as curiosity?
Can that be counted as jnani then, like he was pursuing the knowledge path?
Yeah, he is a Kevala Bhakta. He's a surrendered devotee. He didn't want anything else. He didn't want even keep his life. He had that much power that he could subdue the Kali in his kingdom. He had the power even to counteract the curse that was given by Shringi's son, or the Shringi itself, the boy's name. The boy's name is Shringi. So he could have counter-cursed that boy and all the Brahmanas, but he didn't choose that. He is a very, very great devotee of the Lord. So he's not that category. So these Jignasurs are inquisitive. Okay, they want to know like this kind of the Jignasur and Gyanis, the same desire to know about Krishna is there, but Jignasurs are like a very light. What about this? What about that? And Gyanis are that level. Next level is they're totally surrendered devotees. Gyani, they want to develop knowledge about Krishna. So they are Gyanis. The Gyanis are Sanat Kumars, 4 Sanat Kumars that we have. Sanak, Sanatan, Sanandan, Sanat Kumars, Sanatan. These are the Gyanis.
I think Parikshit Maharaj is like, he's a Rajarshi, right? Already. Yes. He comes under Rajarshi category.
Right. He's a Rajarshi. That is his category. But he's a pure devotee. He's counted among the pure devotees of the Lord. Not among these 4 categories.
So jnanis are also not pure devotees?
At this stage, yes. But they are separate category on their own. So the first 3 are Sakama. They are coming to Krishna for some expectation. There is some exchange of affection, Prabhupada says in the purport. There is an exchange of affection. I want this Krishna from you, so I'm coming to you. Please give me this. So they want some material benefit, so they are coming. So they are Sakama Bhaktas. Gyani is a category on his own. He does not want any exchange in return. He wants to develop knowledge about Krishna so he can go to Krishna more. So that's Gyani. Arthati, we said from the Shastra, it is Dhruva Maharaj. And these 3 kinds of devotees, Artho, Jignasura, and Arthatis, with the association of pure devotees, they can come to right understanding of Krishna and they can become pure devotees also. They can come to the Jnana stage. Like, even after, for example, the Arthatis might get their distress relieved, they might get some wealth, and their inquisitiveness is also cleared. Now, what is the next? How much can I ask for wealth? How much keep on asking for the removal of the distress? The distress keep coming. I go to one, I ask for the other. Can I come to that stage? Even when there is a distress, I will not be disturbed. Can I come to that stage? So that's with the association of pure devotees, they come to that stage. These 4 types of people. Okay, no matter what, Krishna, I just surrender to you. Whether I have this distress, whether I have wealth or not, whether any of these material things are cleared or not, I'll just come to you. So that's the stage. He's clearing his path to come to that. And that happens with the association of pure devotees. Then he wants to know about Krishna. That is, he'll become in the Jnani stage. From the Jnani stage, he'll come to the stage of pure bhakti, which is like, nothing disturbed. I don't want to know about you, Krishna, also. Like, knowing about Krishna is good. It's not like it will be undermined anything, but that's not his mood. Is only to surrender to Krishna and not to read this Shastra, that Shastra, and develop knowledge. It's the residents of Vrindavan, they are not Gyanis. They didn't have the knowledge about Krishna that much. Or they know they're inseparable from Krishna. They cannot one moment gopis. They could sustain their lives itself in separation of Krishna. So they are not Gyanis. They don't have that much of Jnana to start off, but they're pure devotees. They are high class, first class devotees. Yes, Ishita Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, sorry. So I also had a doubt in the previous verse as well. Like, in the third, the Maya, Pahrita Jnana, and the Asuram Bhavam, both are actually doing the unauthorized commentaries, like they are considering the Supreme Lord to be not Lord. So, what's the difference between the two?
Here in the Maya Aparahata Gyanis, they are very intellectuals. They'll write big commentaries also. They might be socially developed. They might be politically very strong people. They might write books minus Krishna. They may influence people. So they are like that. The Maya Aparahata. They're totally come under the Maya's influence. But they're very knowledgeable. If they directly put that knowledge on Krishna or to develop the understanding about Krishna, then they can become devotees. They're totally 180 degrees opposite.
Okay.
And Asuris are, they don't consider Krishna as a person only. They're very atheistic mentality.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Mataji. And for this verse, like the Jnani is also not a pure devotee right now. Like all these four are not the pure devotees, or just the three are
They are not
not.
pure devotees as yet. The first three will come, they're Sakama Karmis. So within this category also, there are three types of categories of devotees. Kevala Bhaktas are pure devotees. Then I'm forgetting the second word, but the third category, the second category is they are devotees. I'm forgetting the Sanskrit word for that. They are devotees, but they have some mixed activities also. They are mainly devotees, but they have some mixed desires. Like I want that, I want this. The karma is there. Karma Mishra is there within them, but bhakti is a prominent feature in that. Karma is a secondary. In Guni Bhuta Bhaktis, the third categories are Gyanis. They have more Jnana tendencies than Bhakti tendencies. They want to know more about Jnana knowledge rather than about Krishna. So there are three categories within this also. The Kevala Bhaktas are pure devotees. Okay.
Okay.
The second category is Karma Mishra. They are more mixed with the devotional activities are there, devotional service is there, but karma is also, they want some material gain. And Guni Bhuta Bhaktis are, they were mostly Jnana overtakes them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, thank you so much, Mataji.
And pure devotional definition as quoted by Srila Rupa Goswami is Anyabhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadhanavritam Anukulena Krishna Anushilanam Bhaktiruttama. So any tendencies of jnana and karma had to be given up. And we need to follow Krishna in the footsteps of how he has given the philosophy of devotional service. He is Anya Abhilashita Shunyam. There is no other desires. All the other Abhilashas have been become Sunyam, and they are devoid of jnana and karma tendencies. They very anukulena Krishna Anushilanam. They follow Krishna's process, Krishna's devotees in a very anukula. Anukula is favorable. And thus such people are Uttama Bhaktas. Bhaktiruttama. Excuse me.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yes.
Sri Krishna Mataji, does the Kanishta Adhikari and the Madhya Adhikari fall into this category as well? Of the first three? Because I think you said the pure devotees, the Uttama.
Which three?
Kanishta Adhikari, there's the first three that you're talking about. I think you said the one that's distressed, the one that's wants wealth, and the one that's inquisitive. Does the Kanishta Adhikari and the Madhya Adhikari fall into that, or they don't fall into that category?
Kanishta might fall. Kanishta has just come to Krishna consciousness. He might be mixed. He's a mixed devotee at that stage. He might be distressed, so he came. And he might be. But Madhyama is a very, very high level process, devotional service. Like people like Prabhupada, they come to the stage of Madhyama to come. They're pure devotees. They come to the stage of Madhyama to preach to the people. So Madhyama is a very, very high level of devotional category.
Thank you.
Yeah. So those are the 4 types of devotees. Now Krishna speaks about Tesham Jnani Nityayukta Eka Bhaktir Vishishyate Priyo hi Jnanino Tyatam Aham Sacha Mama Priyaha. Of these, one who is in full knowledge and who's always engaged in pure devotional service is the best. For I am very dear to him and he is very dear to me. So this is the Jnani who comes in, who also does pure devotional service from the beginning. So he is not like that Jnani who is trying to know about Krishna so he can come. But this Jnani is like much advanced. He has come right from the beginning with the Jnana and full devotional service. He's doing devotional service. And Krishna considers such devotees as very dear. Very, very dear. The other people, other 4 devotees can become pure devotees in the association of devotees, but he is already a devotee. So here it says, Prabhupada says, in the preparatory stage, the man who is in full knowledge of the Supreme Lord and is at the same time executing devotional service is very dear to him. He who is situated in pure knowledge of the transcendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is so protected in devotional service that material contamination cannot touch him. So he cannot be touched by the material contamination at this stage. So he is that category. It's pure devotee. Okay. Then next 18th verse, Krishna says, Udaraha sarva evaite jnanitvatmaiva me matam asitaha sahi yuktatma mamevanuttamam gatim. Udaraha. Udaraha means magnanimous. All these devotees are undoubtedly magnanimous souls. But he who is situated in knowledge of me, I consider him to be just like my own self. Being engaged in my devotional service, he is sure to attain me, the highest and the most perfect goal. He considered all the 4 categories of devotees that we just saw in the 16th verse. He's talking about them, that they are very magnanimous, they are very udaras. But who is in knowledge, who wants to come to me only for the sake of knowledge, he is the best among that categories of people also. And in the Bhagavatam, 9th canto, 4th chapter, Krishna says, Sadhavo hridayam manyam sadhunam hridayam tvaham madhyanyat tena janati naham tebhyo managapi. The devotees are always in my heart. I am always in the hearts of devotees. The devotee does not know anything beyond me, and I also cannot forget the devotees. There is a very intimate relationship between me and the pure devotees. Pure devotees in full knowledge are never out of spiritual touch, and therefore they are very much dear to me. So Krishna considers these pure devotees as good as himself, are very dear to him. He's very, they are very dear to him. He keeps saying about reinforcing this fact that devotees are very dear to him. Very, very, in many more places, in the 9th chapter, in the 12th chapter, when he's concluding a chapter, usually he talks about these devotees are very dear to me. 12th chapter, definitely he speaks. So these are magnanimous devotees. So now if you see what's happening here, Krishna is just speaking one after the other, one after the other. Why? Like Arjuna asked him a question. What did Arjuna ask him in the 6th chapter? It is very hard for me to remember you, Krishna, because mind is very hard. It's very difficult to always think about you. It's easy to control the wind, not the mind. Like that Arjuna says. And Krishna starts to speak about that particular yogi. You do devotional service, you do yoga. The yogi who remembers me alone is the best. And he speaks about the entire 7th chapter. Did Arjuna even ask one question here? No. Why is he giving? Out of his causeless mercy. There's no reason for Krishna to give, but he's just continually giving topic after the topic, topic after the topic. Arjuna never asked so many questions, but Krishna is just pouring out, right? It's talking about pure devotional, I mean, all these different knowledge about himself, about the devotees, and all these. And the devotees are also like that, right? Devotees also are very compassionate, taking this quality after Krishna. Devotees also, you ask them one question, they give so much after that, because that is out of causeless mercy. Krishna doesn't need to give, but he's giving, just giving. And he keeps continuously giving. Only at some point Arjuna asks a question or some interruption, but otherwise Krishna is just speaking, giving a lot of knowledge to Arjuna, so that he comes to that understanding of his duties. Right? Okay. So these devotees are very magnanimous, udarahas, very, very magnanimous, that Krishna calls them. Okay. Is your view okay? Fine, right? I'm not interrupting with anything.
Yes,
Okay.
Mataji.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then he speaks about the 19th verse within the category of people who surrenders to him. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudevaha sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabaha. After many births and deaths, he who is actually knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. So this is that Gyani. After taking many, many births, many deaths happen. And then he comes to that point, like what's the point? So these Sakama Bhaktas come to the Gyani Bhaktas, and Ghana, from Jnana to pure devotee. Like they are understanding Krishna to be all in all. They surrender to him at that stage. So in the beginning, they are just asking for some things, and then he comes to the point of what's the point asking, and then he'll come to knowing about Krishna, and from there he comes to surrendering to Krishna. Yes, Kanika.
Mataji, I had a quick question. Like, I was listening to another discourse, and there they said that transcendental service has like nothing to do with like your karma. So when, like, I mean, that is just it's transcendental, and it's just that when here it says after many, many births, it's just an tangential question. Like, when my brain is going, okay, if it's after many, many births, at what point does Krishna really reveal himself to you and says it's time, because getting into transcendental service, at what time you get in, when you go from a jnani to like a pure devotee, like that and all, like I don't think that's like karma dependent, or even like if you're picking up from devotional service from your previous birth, at what point does that happen? Is that all, since it's transcendental, is that all in Krishna's control then?
Yeah, Krishna can reveal to you when he likes to. That is his prerogative.
Okay.
He is not obliged to us. All we have to do is our part of the duties, to keep doing our duties of surrendering to him, doing devotional service, and at some point he will reveal, and that will happen when he wills. For us, our purview is only to continue to do our duties that he has given us. We cannot see Krishna. Krishna, like when we go to the temple, devotees say, I took the darshan of the Lord. So we need to change that conception in the way that Krishna will look at us rather than we look at Krishna. Although we are looking at Krishna, we are taking his darshan. What is the mode that is running in our mind? Like, we can also think about that. Where are we? Like in that 4 categories of devotees. Sorry, there is a homework here also. In the 4 categories. Where am I right now in the 4 categories of devotees? Please identify in which category you fall into. When did you, at what point, what propelled you to come to the process of devotion service? What is your category? And when did you start? When you started, in which category, and where are you now? That's a homework. I want one of you to write the homework in the chat, so if people have missed in this class, who wants to do that service?
I can do it.
Mataji. Sorry.
Kanika, you want to take that up?
Do that, yeah.
Sure, yeah. So the homework for this week is, apart from writing a journal of identifying the modes, you can add that. Write down what is the stage in which you came to Krishna consciousness out of the 4 categories. What was your category, and where are you now? Where you want to go from here? Where are you now, and where you want to go from here? Where you want to go from here is something that, aspiration for future. But where are you now? Yeah, that will help us to know where we want to go. So Krishna is, so even while taking darshan of the Lord, we might be in some mode, like, how beautiful he is. Oh, this color combination is nice. Maybe if I get a dress of that color combination, it'll look good. See, even in front of Krishna, we are thinking of so many things. Mind is so corrupted, right? Like mind goes various. This flower is so nice. Maybe if I decorate it like this, it will be nice. So even in front of Krishna, we are thinking that. So is that our seeing is seeing in that case? Yes, definitely we are seeing Krishna within darshan. But we need to come to that stage where Krishna is looking at us. That's what Srila Bhakti Saraswati Thakur says. Don't go to Krishna to see him. Come to that stage where Krishna will be able to see, will see you. He will see you. Oh, my devotee has come. Let me take a look at him. He has come to take my darshan. Like that. So that is a stage we should go to, rather than seeing Krishna. Even when seeing in front of the deity, we might go tangent, we might go off, we may be in different mode. Yeah, like that. Okay, Devi, you have a question?
Can I ask you a question, Mataji? Could you be in more than one of those 4 categories to come to Krishna, or you would only be in one of them? Is there,
All
as
the
you said,
time.
you
Yeah,
can be
you
more
could.
of one of them, right? Sometimes you can be inquisitive, sometimes you can be distressed. So it's not only one thing in itself.
Right? Yeah. For example, you might have come to know to Krishna in an inquisitive. Okay, there's a program happening. You may not be thinking that, okay, let me go to Krishna because I'm distressed at that stage. But you may be inquisitive. Okay, there's a program, some Radhayatra is happening. Let me see what it is. So you might go there. That is inquisitiveness. We are not pure devotees. We don't want to know Krishna because there is prasadam anyway, my lunchtime anyway, let me have prasadam. I came to Krishna consciousness for prasadam to start off. And then after that it'll be, okay, now that there is this nice feeling here, let me also ask Krishna for my distress removal. So we become Aarti, like that. So we are still in some mode, like coming to Krishna in different ways. So let's identify where we are and where did we come from and where we want to go. That's one.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question, Debbie?
Yes, thank you, Mataji.
So in this verse, Krishna speaks about Bahunam Janmanam Ante. Krishna, Prabhupada quotes this verse from Svetasvatara Upanishad, which is it's a Upanishad in which this is Purusha Shukta actually. If you hear about Purusha Shukta anytime, this is that verse where Krishna has many hands, many eyes, many heads. That's this verse that Vishnu has thousands of heads, eyes, and feet, and he extends entire universe like that. So this consciousness is still universal concept consciousness. We need to come to that pure devotee consciousness where Krishna is a Tribhanga form, playing on his flute. We need to understand that Krishna is Bhagavan in his three bended form, playing on the flute. That is personal. Okay, now coming to people who don't surrender from our section headings. Surrendering unto the and Devata worship and impersonalism. 20 to 25 is people who don't surrender to Krishna but surrender to other people. Okay, and who are they is what Krishna speaks. from 20 to 25, surrendering unto the demigods and impersonalism. Okay. Verse 20. Kamaistaistirhitajnanaha prapadyantyenya tam tam niyamamastaya prakritya niyataha swaya. Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures. So Krishna differentiates the people even with the material desires coming to him as Sukritinas. Now he's talking about the people with the material desires going to demigods. And he calls them as Kritajnana. Their intelligence has been stolen, not Sukritinas. See the difference Krishna makes. This does not recommend going to demigods for worship, for even asking for material benedictions. Come to him only, even though you have material desires. Ask him only. Don't go to, because when you come to Krishna, he will not only purify, he will not only give according to your qualification, he'll purify that also. The example that we have from, again, Dhruva Maharaj's story is, Dhruva Maharaj came to Krishna for a kingdom greater than his father, of course, his grandfather, who is Swayambhuva Manu, his great-grandfather, who is Brahma himself, and also have something greater than that would be something like a spiritual kingdom only. So grandfather and great-grandfather, he wanted something, a kingdom of that greatness rather than his father only, because he was so envious. He became agitated. He's a small boy, 5 years. He's not envious. He became agitated by the mistreatment, ill treatment by his stepmother. So he went to do devotional service by the order of his spiritual master. Spiritual master didn't give him the order, but spiritual master came there to give him the solace, Narad Muni came there to take care of the devotee. Dhruva was not eagerly going in pursuit of Narad Muni, but Narad Muni came there to give him his association. That's how devotees are, very compassionate. Narad Muni exactly lands in a place where there is, of course, when there is service for him, and also when the people are inclined to devotional service, he shows up to that place. Many instances in Bhagavatam. Narad Muni comes and changes the devotee's mood into devotional mood, and they go back to Godhead. Like Haryashvasade, Shavalasvasade, they are the sons of Daksha. 1,000 sons of Daksha, 10,000 sons of Daksha. He converted them in single 4 verses he recites, and they become pure devotees of the Lord, and they go back to Godhead. Like that. So his duty is to bring people to Krishna. So that is how. So where was I? Why did I say that? Yeah. So go to Krishna only, even in case of any. So Dhruva Maharaj, he had this desire to get a kingdom, and then he went and Narad Muni gave him the instruction what to do. So he went and followed the instruction of Narad Muni, and he did devotional service for 6 very austere devotional service. And Lord Vishnu came and granted his boons. And at that time, Dhruva Maharaj was feeling ashamed of himself. Oh, what am I asking? What am I doing this? He became so purified. Like, why do I need even that? I don't need anything, Krishna. He says, I don't want anything. Even though I have a diamond in front of me, I'm asking for a broken pieces of glass. I don't need that. I don't want. He says, but Krishna won't leave without giving him any benediction. Fine, you will get everything that you desired when you came here. You'll get much more. You'll rule the kingdom of my here in 36 and then go back to Dhruvaloka. So that's how. That Krishna purifies our intentions also. He will give according to our qualification. He doesn't give like a child who goes to buy chocolates or candies in the store. The shopkeeper will take the money and give the child the candy. He does not look at if the child will eat and will get sick or not. He has to get his money and that he has to part with his good. That's it. He's a businessman. Whereas if you ask for a mother will be very cautious. 100 times she'll think and say, fine, you can have only now, not again, or after some more time, cannot have every day. Some regulation mother will keep. Whereas if you go to a shopkeeper, he can give you every single day. Like that. So the demigods are like that. They don't look at your ultimate betterment. They'll give you everything what you want. Because they are obliged also, because you are praying to them. And they don't have the power all by themselves. They get their power from the Supreme Lord. They are the part and parcel of the universal form of the Lord, the universal body of the Lord. They are part and parcels of it. So these people whose intelligence has been stolen by the material desires, they devote to the demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own nature. The nature is something in the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. So if you are in a mode of passion, you'll go to a demigod that will give you all these boons. And the procedures will be in that also. Grandeur, you want to show off your wealth. You are like, more than you doing worship of the demigod, you're showing off your wealth in that worship. In a mode of ignorance, people will sometimes do very ignorant activities in the mode of worship. Some Kali worshippers, they might kill animals. It's very, very mode of ignorant activity. So that is how they do in their own natures. But Krishna devotees, even though they are with material desires, Krishna will ask them to come to him. He will purify and he will he will grant them according to their qualification. He won't grant everything. Okay, so that is also there. Krishna will not give you everything even if you ask him. He will give you, if something is not helping the devotee come to him, even after a long, long time, Krishna will not give that. If you ask for $1 million right now, Krishna might not give us, because whether it is helping us more to come to him or not, or if you take the $1 million and probably propagate Krishna consciousness, and if you are doing that, then Krishna may give you. But if you take $1 million and enjoy your life, it will degrade you further. Why would Krishna give you? Right? So Krishna will not only purify, not only grant your desires according to your qualification, he will also purify them so that you will not have them at all. But demigods are not like that. They grant the boons because they derive their powers from the Supreme Lord and they grant it. They become obliged. Because if you are worshipping someone like a political leader, how inflated they become inflated, like their ego boosts. And they, see, I'm such and such great person. So, okay, fine, let me just help you in this way. So demigods are also like that. They want to help the devotees because they don't want to lose them also. But they derive their benefit from benedictions from the Lord himself. And they know that. Yeah. So in this verse of Bhagavatam 2.3.10, Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yejeta purusham param. Krishna, who says this verse? Maybe the Sutta Goswami or Sukadeva Goswami. Less intelligent people who have lost their spiritual take shelter of demigods. So this verse talks about akama sarva kama. Maybe you have all the kamas. Or no kama. Akama is no kama. Sarva kama means all the kama, all the desires. Moksha kama, even if you want liberation. Okay? But just do devotion service. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusha. Only come to Krishna. Don't go anywhere else. Even if you have desires, even if you don't have desires, if you want to get liberated. That is this. Surrender only unto Vasudeva. But less intelligent people go there because they want quick results. They want short results. That's why they go to him. That's why their intelligence has been Kritagyana. Then, next 21. Yo yam tanum bhaktaha shaddaya chitumichati tasya tasya chalam shaddam tameva vedadamyaham. I am in everyone's heart as a super soul. As soon as one desires to worship some demigod, I make his faith steady so that he can devote himself to that particular deity. So see, here, even the demigod worshippers are not, Krishna does not leave them either. If you want to go worship a demigod, Krishna will give your faith steady towards the demigod because he is reciprocating. He applies this principle of yayathamam prapadyante. In 4th chapter, you would have learned. Verse number. Anybody remember verse number?
11.
11, 4:11. Yeah. Yayathamam prapadyante tam tatayam bhajan. Mama vartamanu vartante manusha bharta sarvashaha. That means, however you want to come to Krishna, he will reciprocate to you in that way. So if you go to demigods, you're not coming to him. Krishna says, fine, you don't have to come to me. I will make your devotion steady to that demigod, and you only go to him. You don't come to me. That is what it is. So I will make your faith steady in that particular devotion to that demigod. So you go to him only. If you want, if atheist doesn't want to know about Krishna, Krishna will say, I don't need to know. You don't need to know about me. If you want to know about me, I'll give you all the provisions so you can come to me. If you don't want to know about me, fine, that's fine. You be in that way. I don't need you to. Krishna will apply that principle of Yathamam. You don't want to come to me, I will ensure you will not come to me. How dangerous that is. Krishna will give all the facilities not to come to him. So these atheistic people, they glide down. They glide down more and more and more. So was a saving grace then? So what's how to come out of it then? Anybody?
Is it the mercy of your devotees? Only from that you can come out of this and you'll get a taste for Krishna. Even so,
How
Krishna
will
will
you
let
go
us.
to pure devotees when you don't even want to come to the temple?
But sometimes they do Sankirtan on the streets. So those mercies that you get when they do book distribution, devotees are doing it in shops, they're doing it in multiple places. So you get that little kripa, or as the Rath Yatra is happening, you get to see that. So that small association, one day you might recollect. And then one day when you're in one of these 4 stages, you might be willing to come there. It might take you years. You might not be ready, but that's the first step.
Yes. So devotees create that little bit bhaktonmukhi sukruti in the atheistic lives of these people. Like when you Radha Yatra is a great example. Not everyone come to the temple, but Krishna, Jagannath comes out so that everyone see me, become purified. You don't come to me, fine, I will come out once a year so that you get some benefit. And you do some service. If at all you look at me, you definitely get Sukruti. You eat the prasadam, you'll definitely got Sukruti. So next time you have some Sukruti that you can at least think of coming to the temple at some point. Like that. That is how the devotees create the Sukruti. Lord is under the directions of the Lord only these things are happening. The devotees are an instruments of that mercy. They're carrier of that mercy. So they take that over to the people. Book distribution is a classic example. We approach each and every person. We are told not to approach the atheists, but how do we know each person is an atheist? So we approach everyone without any qualification. Then we see if that person is reciprocating with you, even for a second is making eye contact with you. Then you know this person will hear me for next 2-3 seconds. If he's just passing by, then there's no way you can connect with that. So you know he's atheist. He may not be atheist or he may be atheist. We just let him go. But if he has made eye contact with you even for a second, then you know he will speak. He will listen, and then you make more like few more points to him, and then maybe his heart will change, and then he will take the book and see his devotional journey started like that. So this is the process. Even though the Lord says that you don't have to come to, but devotees ensure that this Prabhupada created this Bhakti Sukruti among all these people in Western world. When he first came, it was all hidden in their hearts. And Prabhupada created that, he invoked or he revived that Bhakti Sukruti that was hidden in their hearts. And he sprouted it, and then he developed the Krishna consciousness. Yes, Kanika Mataji.
Mataji, I just wanted to share really quickly. Like, I remember I was in a class once, and the person who was taking the class and another devotee were chatting, and this devotee was like really disappointed that, you know, when she's going and telling other people that, like in the group, that why aren't you coming for class, or please come to class, they just say, sorry, I have this going on, that going on, Hare Krishna. So I liked what the person who was taking the class said, that you realize you've been a messenger of Sukriti, that even if they just say we are not coming Hare Krishna, even just by saying Hare Krishna, they are getting a little bit of Sukriti thanks to you. So don't feel disappointed.
Right, yeah. Even if you write Hare Krishna, you are getting Sukriti. Yes. Yeah. Nice. Yes, Palak Mataji.
So, Mataji, my question is from there's a statement written in the last 10 lines. The particular mode of the devotional attitude of the living entity towards a particular type of demigod is also arranged by Supreme Lord. The demigods cannot infuse the living entities with such affinity, but the Supreme Lord does, right? So if the Supreme Lord is creating our affinity towards a demigod, why cannot he create the affinity towards him? Because affinity is the thing that makes us uh, render some services to either demigod or Krishna, right? Anybody. So why not to Krishna directly?
What is your question? Sorry.
Sorry. Did you get the statement that I was referring to?
Yeah, I am pointing to that. A particular mode of devotion service.
Yes,
Particular.
correct.
Yeah.
So the statement, so my understanding from the statement is that Krishna creates the affinity towards the demigod. It's not us creating the affinity. It's not our desire to go to the demigod. It's Krishna is creating our affinity to that demigod. That's what I get from this statement. So the question here is, why not directly create affinity to him rather than directing us to some demigod?
Krishna is not a taskmaster. He, otherwise, there won't be any free will left with anyone, right? He will make ensure everyone is pure devotees of him, like from the day get go. That's not what Krishna wants. Krishna wants you by you're a living entity, you have your free will. He wants you to come to him on your own accord, not by his inducing that to you. However, this statement says that the demigods also don't have power to do anything. They derive that power from the Lord. And the Lord only gives them, because they wanted to go to demigod, Lord only gives that their desire fulfilled to go to him, to go to the particular demigod. Krishna does not want anybody just because otherwise he'll become an autocrat, a dictator. That's not what he is. He's a very merciful Lord. If you want to come to me, I will give you your intelligence purified so you can come to me more, he'll say. If you desire to come to me, I'll make sure you'll come to me more. If you don't want, then I'll make sure you don't want. You want to go to a particular demigod, fine, you can go. That also comes from me, because what is there? Everything is, we only learn two things. There is Krishna and there is Krishnas. There's no third thing. Either we go to Krishna or we go to Krishnas. For going to Krishnas also, Krishna is needed.
Got it. So I'm just curious to know that, because I think just in some last words we read somewhere that I think it's probably comments that Shiva says that you get liberated uh, through Krishna, right? Everybody says that. So I want to know that I think we have read examples of Shiva and Brahma, but when we talk about other demigods, are there scriptures in which they are also saying that uh, you get liberated at Krishna and Krishna is the cause? Because I feel if that exists, then everybody will eventually know the truth. Because let's just say if somebody is worshipping Lord Ganesha, right? They should be some scripture for Lord Ganesha, which kind actually says that and gives them the right direction. How would it come to them that they need to go to Krishna?
See, that's what happened, right? When Vyasadeva wrote these Vedas, after writing all the Vedas, all the Upanishads, everything he wrote, even the 18 Puranas he wrote, and after that he felt very despondent, very, very despondent. And he couldn't understand what his despondency was. So at that time, Narad Muni appeared. Narad Muni, a spiritual master, appeared and asked, "Oh, you have written so much of great work. You have written a big thesis. Now you are feeling so despondent. You should be very happy that you made this much of big monumental work." Then Narad Muni and Vyasadeva still thinks like, "I don't know what I have done. I can't get that." Then Narad Muni knows what he has done. He has not glorified Krishna enough. He has not written that Amala Puran that will ensure that people will come to him only for his sake, not for any other material benefits. So he's written all these other Puranas where people will. So there is already a tendency that we are in the material world because we have a tendency to enjoy. And Vyasadeva has written scriptures in such a way their material enjoying tendencies are encouraged, glorified, encouraged, and authorized. That is what these other scriptures are. Their tendencies are glorified, they are encouraged and authorized. He has authorized it, saying that if you do this, you'll get this benefit. You do this in this mode, you will get this benefit. He has written that in the Vedas and he has authorized it. That means people already have a tendency. Now, if you authorize something, what will they do? They want to do that only rather than going to something which is more austere. That was a cause of his despondency. Then Narad Muni appeared on the scene and said, see, you have encouraged people for these tendencies more and you authorize it by writing in your books. If you do that, the result is you are not unhappy. You are not happy. So what I should do? You should write about Krishna glorifying him alone. So he goes back and revises his Bhagavad Purana and he enhances it to contain the glories of Krishna, only glories of Krishna without any material tinge. That is why it is Amala Purana. And he has rejected all that is Kaitava Dharma. Everything that you ask a benefit, you give one coconut, you'll get half coconut back, is a Kaitava Dharma, part of it in the sense. It's not completely unauthorized, but you're getting something back out of it. So and this Amala Purana rejects all that unauthorized or Kaitava Dharma part of it. And he glorifies Krishna. Okay, so that is what you have not done, he says. Then he writes Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam has already been written, but he has not glorified. 10th canto has not, I don't know what all he has not introduced before, but he writes, and even if you write it, then then Narad Muni says, Tadbhag Visargo Jaratagha Viplavo Yasmin Pratishlokam Abhadyavatyapi Namani Anantasya Yaton Mukhanichad Shanmanti Gayanti Ghananti Sadavaha. It is there in the beginning of every canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, this particular verse, or in the beginning introduction, where Narad Muni says that even if you write this glorification of the Lord, even if there are inconsistencies, even if there are some things that are not perfectly aligned in the poetic language, still fine. They will be accepted by the sadhavas, grinanti, by the sadhavas who are thoroughly perfect in the. So this is for those Amala. This Amala Purana Bhagavatam is for such swan-like people. Okay, that's one item. So you need to come to that Purana which will tell you about where you should go rather than go to any other Purana. It is there in the Puranas. It has been written. Vyasadeva has already done. Now at the end of it, in his maturity, when he is finally done with everything of his lifetime of sadhana, he has put in Bhagavad Purana. That means that is his monumental piece. It's magnum opus piece. So go to that Purana and read about Krishna. Then you'll know about Krishna. If you go to other Puranas, you might have some concoctions here and there. So that's why you need to come to this stage of purity. One might say, how do we get? So that's like if you have the desire that, see, Krishna always reciprocates with that desire. I want the pure thing in the world. If you pray, if one has that intention, Krishna will ensure that. I want the pure. If I want, whatever I'm doing is fine. I'm getting the benefits are fine. I'm nicely situated in this place. I do this devotional service. I get this benefit. Everything is going fine. You don't have a need to go beyond that. Then what can anybody do? If you think you're comfortably situated, I'm fine doing what I'm doing, then you'll be in that situation. If you have a slight inclination, I want to do something that is pure rather than what I'm doing. If you have that, it may come after long by serving devotees again, by the worship that you have gained so much, by doing all these in mode of goodness and passion, these worships. If you have learned to serve a sadhu, pure devotee, at some point you come across a pure devotee. That pure devotee might grant you a boon. Okay, may you go towards Krishna. May with that blessing, may this person get the devotion. Okay, maybe I should go to a temple where Krishna Katha is happening. Maybe I should buy this book where Krishna, pure consciousness about Krishna is taught. So that is how it starts. Otherwise, this is happening from time immemorial, right? Like it's continuous. Birth, death, old age, life cycle is continuing. And Krishna has given us in the beginning itself. We have come to this, develop these many modes. That's why we are all mixed up. So it's not like just in one book. If you tell about this, everyone will change. It won't happen like that. It's part of the whole. It's a plan that's happening around us. I hope that answers or throw some light on that.
Yes, Mataji, it does. I think so. The only part I understand that if even from demigod you would ask for purity, you will be directed towards Krishna. I completely get that. The only thing is, I just think that life would be so easier. So I don't know what Puranas. So if let's just say somebody worships Lord Ganesha, right? I don't know what Purana that person would read, and if in that it is written, it would be easy for him to come there, whether he asks for purity or not. But it would be easy for them, right? So I was
So
just thinking life would be
yeah.
easy.
So demigod worshippers, if you go to demigod worship, see, demigod worshippers, demigod worship is also such that if you worship demigods only for their glorification, not asking any boon in return. If one does that, demigod worshippers definitely will lead them to the next level. That is a proven thing. Right now, I am not getting any from Shastric evidence, but personal devotees sharing, I have seen, like devotees who are staunch bhaktas of such and such demigod, they are only worshipping him for the sake, not asking any material benefits. So what that demigod will direct them to the next level. This has happened. So that's what happens. If you are pure in your worship of that demigod only for the sake of him, only for the glorifying him, not for asking any material benefit, they will direct that particular devotee to Krishna. That has happened, and I've heard the instances like that.
Got it. Thank you, Mataji.
Yashika?
Yes, Mataji, very quick question. So, we were discussing like how to come out of this when Krishna is making their faith steady, and Devi Mataji said like through the association of devotees, through book distribution, and through their mercy. So I just wanted to know if there is any other way also to come out of this, or this is the only way, because to get these things also, I think it depends on the mercy of the Lord. Like, so then how does one actually come out of it?
Prasadam distribution is very easy. Even books sometimes may be rejected, but prasadam most people will accept. If you offer something to the Lord at home and give it, not even telling them it is prasadam, they will get that sukriti. Right? Prasadam is one. Sankirtan, Sankirtan and book distribution are the prominent ones. The devotees just go out and distribute. And some people will take it and become recipients of the mercy. But otherwise, prasadam is something that you can do.
Okay. Yeah, thank you much.
Thank you. Srinivas Anand Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, for the Palak Mataji's question about the demigods, how they will make a devotee to go to Krishna, we have an example in ISKCON also. Like I heard in one of the interviews, Radhesham Prabhuji was telling, like when he was doing his IIT, and for those who not knowing about Radhesham Prabhu, actually he started the youth preaching, and he's the pioneer in youth preaching in this second generation or third generation, we can say. So Prabhuji was doing his in IIT was doing his MTech, and he's basically born in a Brahmin family, and he was doing only Chamakam. That is a worshipper of Lord Shiva. So he was doing. Then he come in contact with devotees. Then finally, like now he's a full time. I mean, he's from last 50 years. He's a brahmachari, and he probably he is one such devotee leadership where he trained so many brahmacharis. So Prabhuji was mentioning this. He was doing Chamakam when he was doing Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Like initially he was telling like I still want to do Chamakam and all. Then he said okay, do that also. Then eventually like now then he totally came and surrendered to Krishna, and he became a full-time brahmachari. So this is one example which I heard and I saw. And even in my family also, we are all worshippers of Lord Shiva actually. And I particularly like I used to worship, and I mean, out of my innocence, I used to go and ask, what is the purpose of life? I was very confused as a teenager, or you can say as early 20s. And I'm also so scared seeing the world like kind of like nothing is. I mean, whatever we, nothing is predictable. People or situations and all. So I used to go with another devotee, and we used to go to Lord Shiva's temple especially in South India, like in Andhra, like we have that during the Kartik Mass, very special. Early morning, everybody will go in the early morning before the Brahma Muhurt. And we had one temple. Actually, it is a very 500 years old temple, but it's a kind of abandoned. The Shivlinga is very nice. It's called Chaya Shomeshwar Alai. So 24 hour, whenever there is a sun, there's always a shade on Shivlinga. So that is a specialty of the temple. Maybe after somebody can Google also. So, but no one goes there. So I used to go with that another devotee. He was a very nice devotee. We used to go and clean the bad droppings. They say all those bads are the devotees of Krishna, the Lord Shiva. So there used to be bad droppings and all. We used to clean, wash nicely, and we used to go and sit there, and we used to do Om Namah Shiva. And I used to ask him, like, what is life? And what is the purpose? Like that. So those things I used to ask. Then after that, it took 3 to 4 years. I then, like as Devi Mataji was telling, we've been to ISKCON, like we saw Prabhupada books distribution, like this is how it happened actually. So, and I also heard a lot of devotees like who are very devoted devotees of Lord Ganesha, or even some kind of Babas also, who are not scripturally approved. But even they, like when they are very sincere, as you mentioned, Mataji, like sincerely worshipping them, somehow Krishna will make an arrangement, and they contact with the devotees, and they connected to the purpose of human life. So I just want to.
Yes, yeah. Thanks for adding that, Prabhu. Yeah, that's helpful. When we see the personal examples or some devotees which are around us, great devotees, that is very helpful. Yeah, this is how it works. These demigods, they don't keep them to themselves alone. If you are pure and sincere, only worshipping them, they will directly then direct them to the next stage of their bhakti process, so the Krishna or Vishnu. Moving on to the next verse, text 22. Sataya Shraddaya Yuktas Tasyaradhanamihate Labate cha tatha kaman Mayeva vihitan hitan. Okay. Endowed with such a faith, he endeavors to worship a particular demigod and obtains his desires. But in actually, these benefits are bestowed by me alone. Like Krishna is saying that, yeah, demigods, they may grant you, but they in fact get these powers and give it to the your worshippers. So this is, we have gone through this, like, it is not that they have the power, because they are part and parcel of the Lord. It is said that if the Lord's body is a universal manifestation, these demigods are his hands and is basically his arms. They execute the workings of the universe, being the arms of the Lord. So they are part and parcel of the Lord. That means they need to get their energy or their boons from the Lord himself. They are not on their own. So they cannot give anything to the deity or demigod worshippers. It has to come from the Lord itself. But in actuality, these are worshipped by me, bestowed by me alone. And Krishna is giving that insight knowledge, right? Even if you go to demigod, it is coming from me. So why bother go there? Come to me. I will purify your everything, your consciousness, your thoughts, and you'll make progress. And you'll come to me at some point. If you are in a demigod worship, you'll go through that birth, death, old age, life cycle continuously without any, because they will not give, they don't have power to liberate you. They don't have power. They can't liberate. Right? So they will only give you that, even if you see so many stories from our history, like Ravana wanted, he worshipped Brahma saying that I want no death, right? Brahma said, I cannot do that. That's not my power. I myself, after so many 100 lifetimes of my own life, I will have to give up this body. How I can give you a boon that will give you immortality? It won't happen. Then Ravana thought, maybe let me put in such a way that I will use some intelligence and ask these questions so that other people, like humans, are incapable of killing me anyway. So if I ask all this about other than humans, if I put everyone in the category, that means there is no death for me. Humans cannot even touch me anyway. But let me put other people, like like whoever he puts in that other than humans. And then he asked that Guru. Brahma says, fine, I can give you this, but not immortality. Then what happened? Lord came in the form of a human being as Lord Sri Ram and killed Ravana. So immortality is not in the power of the demigods. So they cannot give, it has to come from the Lord himself, everything, even the devotion and their boons and everything. Last verse for the day. Antavattu phalam tesham tadbhavatyalpamedasam devan devaya joyanti madbhakta yanti mamapi. Men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of the demigods, but my devotees ultimately reach my planet. You see Krishna, how he's saying that the jnana and alpamedasam, what is it? Alpamedasam is small intelligence. And Hritagyana, their intelligence is stolen by illusion. Here is saying small intelligence. Whereas for the devotees with the material desires coming to him, they are calling him as Udharaha Sarvaivete. Udhara, they're magnanimous. Here, these people are small intelligence. They don't have the intelligence. That's why they go to the demigods, because their fruits are limited and temporary. What they cannot give is something immortality, because that has to go along with their body and that will perish. It is only for a limited time. It's a limited time offer, not a permanent time offer. So it is limited and temporary. So they go to their planets. If you keep worshipping a demigod, then you'll have to go to him only. Because how will you survive, right? You are aspiring to go to a particular person. If you keep praying him, and I want to go to you, Lord, I want to see you in my next birth. If you pray to him like that, then they'll take you there and you'll worship him there. That's not liberation, because at the end of the cycle, everyone has to do. That you'll see in the Bhagavatam how this happens, how the material manifestation, creation, devastation happen. So there is a time limit that. So that will be not fully available for the people. So it is, their fruits are limited, it is temporary. They go to that planet, and my devotees who worship me, they come to my planet, which is Supreme Planet. Krishna speaks about the glories of his planet in the future chapters of Bhagavad Gita. So that's how we can understand. And various examples that are given. Yeah, like I said, the Brahmana, Kshatriyas are the Brahmanas are the head of the Lord, Kshatriyas are his arms, Vaishyas are his ways, the Sudras are his legs. They're all the different functions that each one does. And the results of the demigods are perishable, because in the material world, the planets, the demigods and the worshippers are all perishable. When you see how this universe comes into being, remains for some time and goes back into the cosmic manifestation, all these are temporary. They have some time limit. It's not immortal. It's not permanent. It's not eternal. That is what we have to see for today. Any questions or any other discussion items? Yes.
I was just, reading this, I was thinking that it is much more complicated than this, because we have also read in the past that whatever spiritual knowledge is acquired in one birth actually continues on in the successive births. There is no loss or diminution, which means that if somebody is even going to the demigods for material benedictions, because that's all they know as a conditioned living being, then whatever they have acquired spiritual knowledge over the period of time, that will also somehow play its effect. And through Krishna's causeless mercy, they may go onto that Krishna's track, right? It's not a linear thing, right?
So if we have gained Krishna Bhakti in the previous life, we will come back to Krishna in the next life. Is that what you're saying, or demigod?
Yeah, I'm just saying that everything is very there's more than one factor. Like in these verses, it seems like only if somebody is going to the demigods will not probably reach Krishna because they are only asking for material benedictions. But it could still be possible that because of their previous births, those factors will come into play, and somehow Krishna's causeless mercy will also come into play and put them on the track for Krishna bhakti without them knowing in this birth. You see what I'm saying?
It's possible. They might have done some Krishna Nama in their worship. They might have said.
Yeah.
So, and if they have pure intentions rather than any mixed intentions, then Krishna will take care of them. Krishna will definitely take care of. Krishna is taking care of so many people. See, when we go out on distribution, it is not between you and them. It is between them and Krishna. Distribution is not between you and me. If I am giving a book to you, it's not between you, it's between you and Krishna, because I am only an instrument. I am doing my duty of doing my sadhana of serving the Lord, and just that I'm doing without expecting anything. And when it is between you and the Lord, because Krishna has sanctioned that for you for that day. If you accept it, you'll take it. If not, then your journey started, and then Krishna will take care of you hereafter. I'm done. My role is done. I'm gone from the equation. Then, so that will continue, right? Like that is never ending. It's Krishna's plan is superbly creative, superbly intelligent. It is magnanimous. It's what all you can add adjectives. That is how Krishna's plan is.
Correct. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Yes, Tushi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, my question is, today we talked about all four categories of the devotees or who are looking to come into devotion, like Arti, Artharti and all those. So, Mataji, sometimes we may feel we comes under some particular category, or I may say I don't need anything from you. But deep within me, there will be so many desires. This is so difficult to, we are not having any desire. Yeah, so how we can figure it out, like what category we are into? So usually whenever I pray to Krishna, I just look at him and I am in love with him. That's the only thing. I just look at Yugal Jodi and I feel like I should serve them and they are so nice and all. That's the only feeling. But sometimes when we sleep or in the dreams, we see something in our mind, subconscious mind, something is there. Sometimes we desire to do something for our parents. Sometimes we feel something, means we think of something in our subconscious mind which comes into the dreams and all. Means there are some hidden desires with deep within us. We are not still out of everything. So how we can judge like what category we fall into?
So then what we have to do is, so this bhakti process helps us to churn the heart. So when we do deep bhakti, I mean deep bhakti is far out thing. What we can do is attentive chanting. If we can strive to that, attentive chanting, because we are anyway chanting, let's try to be attentive while chanting. If we can do that, this chanting process has got great potency to unearth all those hidden things from the heart. That's the churning process. That's the anartha nivritti process. It will bring things to the forefront and purify it. That chanting process, it is attentive chanting is a must for all of us to get to the point of anartha nivritti, to remove all the impurities in the heart. So because we are not doing that, these are all there. We are all, this is you and that is also you. Like you falling in love with Krishna and looking at him is you, or you are having desires inside you is also you. So you need to purify that. We need to purify that by chanting attentively and doing these processes, reading the scriptures, shastra, associating with devotees, eating prasad. All this process is there. On the top of it, what we can do also is to write the journal of where our thoughts are. That journaling will help us to get to that bottom of our heart, to see what our deep rooted things are there in the heart. Some things will come out in that process. We keep writing. That's why journaling is an important activity. It is said, apart from chanting, hearing, and studying. If we can write, at least to start off with your modes and where we stand, some things like, or a gratitude, writing a gratitude journal, whatever you are feeling grateful for the day, for your life, whatever. So that also. So keep writing. If you keep writing these, you will get to the root of these things from the heart. Otherwise, it becomes very peripheral. It becomes very outwardly. Like, you see, yes, I am a pure devotee of the Lord. I go to the temple every Sunday without fail. I do service. I will chant my rounds. I will eat only prasada, my rasas. Is that all it is? Maybe it is, but there might be more deeper things that are rooted in the heart. We need to bring those out and send them out. Tivra Bhakti we have to do, and some writing part. And Prabhupada is encouraged all his disciples to write. We can write prayers. I'm not a poet, I can't write. But we can write if you are able to. Yeah, in your language or in English, whatever. I hope that helps. Tushi Mataji.
Mataji, thank you so much.
Ishita Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, I have a small doubt in text 16 that we 15, sorry, the first one that we read today. In the purport, there is a line like it is the duty of the guardians of children to revive the divine consciousness dominant in them. The 10 processes of reformatory ceremonies as enjoined in the Manusmriti are meant for reviving God consciousness and all that. So I was just curious to know like what is this 10 processes or what is meant by this.
Okay. So Manusmriti is that manuscript for the mankind. It was written by Manu. Okay. That the principles of how a human being should conduct. He's a man, right? So we gave like a book for how human beings should conduct their life. So there are processes of reformatory processes like I don't remember everything, but something that comes to my mind is the Garbhadana Samskara. So in this regard itself, in this point itself, Prabhupada is hinting that he doesn't mention it fully, but he says it is a duty of the guardians of children to revive the divine consciousness dormant in them. The 10 processes of reformatory ceremonies, as enjoined Manusmriti, which is the guide to religious principles, are meant for reviving God consciousness in the system of Varnashrama. However, no process is to be followed now in any part of the world, and therefore 99% of the population is Naradama. So what he's saying, from what I understand from his writing, Prabhupada is he's talking about the Garbhadana Samskara in here. This Manusmriti has that. That's one of the samskara, Garbhadana Samskara. Like that, there are many other samskaras. Samskaras are impressions that we create within our minds. So Garbhadana Samskara is before, why the 99.9% of the population are Naradamas? Because these are not, population is not born out of any samskara. It is born out of the lust of man and women. Mostly, that's what Prabhupada is saying here. But before coming together, if the man and woman can do a reformation or a samskara, then there is a great chance for a pious soul to enter the womb of the lady. And then they will have a pious soul entering in the womb, and there can be some opportunity for the parents to revive their dormant, which has been lost, can be revived. So if you see in many families, even devotee families, some children take it up very nicely from the beginning of their life. Some children don't take it up. So it is because of their samskaras or their karma that has been there. So there are samskaras which revive. So one is this, then there is Srimanta samskara. Srimanta Nayana is what they say. Why they do? So there is an impression created to give positive vibrations, give blessing to the soul that is thriving in the womb, and also the blessing and benediction to the mother. So that's one samskara. And then before that is a Garbhadana. Before even you can have the pregnancy, then there is this samskara of Garbhadana, where there is a process that in ISKCON also some devotees follow that. How to beget good Krishna conscious children. So these are inlaid in that book called Manusmriti. And that's what it is. Prabhupada is talking. Prabhupada encourages these things in his teachings.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Mataji.
Okay. Anything else? So, Kanika Mataji, you're going to write the homework, right? We have
Yes, Mataji, I posted it on WhatsApp group.
how many questions? One question or?
I posted two things, one question homework that you gave and one ongoing activity that you said about
Yeah,
journaling.
right,
Yes.
right. Okay. Okay. We'll see you tomorrow then.
Thank you, Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll meet you all tomorrow at 10 o'clock.